countries on earth is also one of the most economically devastated. What if global superpowers weren't just watching, but actively shaping that reality? Venezuela's crisis is often explained as an internal failure, but behind the headlines lies a much bigger story. A story involving US sanctions, oil politics, military pressure, and global power struggles. Is the United States protecting democracy or protecting its interests? Today, we uncover the real story behind US intrusion in Venezuela and why it matters far beyond Latin America. Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. In today's video, we are going to explore a highly complex and controversial topic, the issue of US intrusion in Venezuela. This topic sits at the intersection of global politics, energy security, democracy, and power struggles. Venezuela is one of the most resource rich countries in the world. Yet, it has faced economic collapse, political instability, and international isolation over the last decade. The United States has played a significant and visible role in this situation through sanctions, diplomatic pressure, and security actions. But why? Is it about democracy, human rights, oil, or geopolitical influence? In this video, we will break it all down step by step, looking at the background, motivations, global reactions, and real world impact on Venezuelans before discussing where things stand today. To understand the current conflict, we first need a big picture overview of US Venezuela relations. Tension between these two countries are not new. They have evolved over decades and are shaped by political ideology, economic interests, and regional power dynamics. On one side, the United States positions itself as a defender of democracy, human rights, and regional stability in the Western Hemisphere. On the other side, Venezuela, especially under its recent leadership, has accused the US of imperialism, interference, and economic warfare. This conflict is not just bilateral, it involves global powers, energy market, and Latin America regional politics, making it a strategic geopolitical issue rather than a simple disagreement. Venezuela holds one of the largest proven oil reserves in the world, even larger than those of Saudi Arabia. For decades, this made Venezuela an important energy partner for the United States. However, things changed dramatically in the early 20s, especially after Venezuela adopted socialist oriented governance and pursued policies aimed at national control of resources. Relation further deteriorated due to disagreement over governance and democracy, accusations of election irregularities, increasing anti US rhetoric from Venezuelans' leadership. As Venezuela moved away from US influence, it strengthened ties with countries like Russia and China and further intensifying Washington's concerns. The United States has officially justified its action in Venezuela on several key grounds. First, authoritarian rule. US officials argue that Venezuela's government has weakened democratic institutions, limited political oppositions, and centralized power. Second, human rights concerns. There have been international reports alleging suppression of protest, arbitrary arrests, and restrictions on free speech. And third, regional interests. From Washington's perspective, instability in Venezuela could disrupt neighboring countries, increase refugee flows, expand the influence of rival global powers in Latin America. Taken together, these concerns form the core justification for US involvement. One of the most powerful tools used by the United States has been economic sanctions, especially targeting Venezuela's oil industry. Oil is the backbone of Venezuela's economy, By restricting oil exports, financial transactions, and access to international markets, sanctions aimed to pressure the government politically. However, these measures also had broader consequences: reduced government revenue, fuel shortages, inflation and currency collapse, disruptions in global energy markets. While sanctions were intended to influence leadership decisions, they also deeply affected ordinary citizens, intensifying economic hardship. Politically, the crisis escalated with a dispute over legitimate leadership. The US and several allied countries recognized opposition leadership as Venezuela's legitimate authority, while others continued to recognize the existing government. This led to first democratic isolation attempts, second support for opposition movements, thirdly Venezuela's exclusion from certain international forums. The result was a political stalemate, with no side able to fully assert control, while institutions remained paralyzed. Although there has been no direct military invasion, the US presence in the region has included security and intelligence operations. These include increased naval patrols in the Caribbean, intelligence monitoring, operations framed as counter narcotics efforts. From the US perspective, these actions are about regional security. From Venezuela's perspective, they are seen as intimidation and interference. This difference in interpretation further fuels mistrust. Internationally, reaction to US actions have been sharply divided. Russia and China strongly opposes US involvement, supporting Venezuela's sovereignty. Latin America countries are split. Some align with US policy, others advocate non intervention. The United Nations has repeatedly called for restraint, dialogues, and peaceful resolution. This division highlights how Venezuela has become a global geopolitical flashpoint. Perhaps the most important part of this discussion is the human impact. The crisis has contributed to severe economic hardship, food and medicine shortages, mass migration of Venezuelans to neighboring countries, prolonged political instability. While political leaders debate power and legitimacy, ordinary citizens bear the heaviest burden. As of now, tensions remain unresolved. Sanctions are still in place. Diplomatic relations remains strained. Negotiations occur intermittently but without lasting breakthroughs. There are occasional signs of dialogues, but mutual distrust continues to dominate the relationship. In conclusion, the issue of US intrusion in Venezuela is far from simple. It is a complex geopolitical conflict shaped by politics, oil and economic power, security concerns, competing global interests. The future of Venezuela and its relationship with the United States will largely depends on diplomacy, compromises, and international cooperation. Understanding this issue helps us better grasp how power, resources, and politics interact on the global stage.